Hello everyone, so we've reached the end of the week. So we're just going to do some consolidation of everything we've learnt. So first of all, on the screen are the key terms, the rhetorical figures that I went through with you in the last session. There are endless numbers of rhetorical figures. If you Google it, you'll find loads. I've just picked a few that I think are nice and can be used effectively. So 5 rhetorical figures and 5 definitions. But in a crazy world, the definitions are not aligned with the words. So please can you, from your brain, without looking at any notes, match the words to the definitions. You can then check with your notes, but do it from your brain first, please. Pause the video and do that now. Okay, so let's quickly self-assess that then. Hopefully you've got repeated use of and in a list is polysyndeton, so you should have matched those two. Repeating the same sentence opening is anaphora, so you should have matched those two. Describing things in terms of what they are not is litotes, so you should have matched these two. Asking and answering a rhetorical question is hyperphora, so it goes up with this one up here. Starting a new sentence with the same words used to end the last sentence was in the right place. So it's anadiplosis and it is here, okay? It's not essential to know all those terms, just to practice using them really, but it's good to have the knowledge. Okay, so a couple other things I just wanted to show you is other things. First of all is what we call fronted disjuncts. Now disjuncts are really important to persuasion because they allow us to present something which is an opinion as if it is a fact. So they're a really good technique for that. So really a disjunct are the words obviously, surely and clearly. There are others, but those are 3 good ones. And fronted just means put at the front of a sentence. So you'll find in persuasive language, speakers and writers will often start a sentence with one of these words and then offer an opinion, but in a way that makes us feel like we have to agree with their opinion. So in my example that I was using yesterday, that cars should be banned from a city centres, I could say something like, surely it is obvious that the only way to make our town safer is to ban cars. So do you see, really all I'm saying is the only way to make our town safer is to ban cars. So I'm giving it's logos, I'm giving some information, but it's very opinion based. It's not factual. But in order to make it sound like a fact, I've used this word surely at the beginning. Obviously, and it implies to the person that if they don't agree with me, they're a bit stupid because they can't see what's obvious. So can you have a go at doing one of those fronted disjunct sentences for the task you were working on yesterday, which is to ban adverts for unhealthy foods? So you can use the same structure, surely it's obvious that, and then write a sentence which is just your opinion, but it's given this factual credibility. Pause the video and do that now, please. Okay, the other thing I think can be quite nice is what we call enigmatic sentences. Now, an enigmatic basically just means a mystery. So sometimes when we write a sentence, if we withhold the subject of the sentence, what the sentence is actually about, until the end, it can be quite intriguing. So, for example, I could say, foul smelling, diesel guzzling, metal boxes that choke our lungs, cars are ubiquitous in city centres. Okay, so do you see what I've done there? Foul smelling, diesel guzzling metal boxes that choke our lungs, cars are ubiquitous in city centres. So normally we would put that word, the noun that identifies what I'm talking about, quite early in the sentence so that the reader knows what I'm talking about. But sometimes we can deliberately withhold the noun that names what we're talking about until the end or later in order to kind of create this enigma, this mystery that draws people in. The word ubiquitous just means can be found everywhere. It's a really nice word. So you might want to make a note of that if you've never come across that word before. If we say something's ubiquitous, it just means it can be found everywhere. Okay, do you want to have a go then at writing one of those enigmatic sentences about adverts? So all you're trying to do is to describe them, but without saying what you're writing about until later in the sentence. Give it a go. Thank you. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk to you about briefly in this week is what we call synthetic personalisation, which is really important when you're delivering a speech to a big audience. Because the best speakers are the people who can make the audience feel that they are talking to them, that they can make them feel that they've got a relationship. Now, synthetic just means fake, and personalisation means relationship. So it's all about trying to create a fake relationship with potentially thousands of people that you don't know. Or even if you're just delivering your speech to 20 people, if you don't know them, to get them on side, they need to feel they've got some kind of bond with you. There's all kinds of ways we can do this. We can use friendly terms. We can say, my friends. Thank you for joining me, my friends. We can show respect and deference to them. I'm so impressed to meet you. I'm in awe of what you've achieved. So we can say those kind of slightly sycophantic, creepy things to people. We can use pronouns like we and us and our. We are a team. It's our duty. We can flatter them. I know you're all people of integrity and decency. But it's really important within speaking, not just to create ethos through ourselves and making ourselves seem appealing, but through our relationship. So synthetic personalisation is really part of ethos, that relationship with the audience that makes them want to trust us. Okay, so to bring all this together for this week, I'd like you to look at a speech to see where you can spot these things. Now, I've chosen Old Major's speech from Animal Farm, so it's a fictional speech, but it's wonderful. And in this speech, Old Major is a pig, and he persuades the other animals on the farm to rise up against the humans that own the farm because they enslaved them. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. If you haven't read it, read it. It's brilliant. There's a YouTube clip, so you could watch the speech if you want to, but it's also on these slides. And these slides are attached to show my homework, so you can have a little read through. If you can print the sheets, you'll probably find that easier, but you do not need to because you can read them on screen. But what I'd like you to do is to copy and complete this table, please. So in the first column, I've put some questions. In the second column, I'd like you to write your answers and find an example from the speech in the third. So the first question says, ethos. How does Old Major make himself seem credible and trustworthy? Well, if I go to the speech, it says, comrades, you have heard already about the strange dream that I had last night. I feel it's my duty to pass on such wisdom as I've acquired. I have lived a long life. I have had much time. So we can see really clearly, can't we? The use of the word comrades immediately creates a bond with them, that he's equal to them, that he values them. He talks about his wisdom, the fact he's had a long life. So my answer could go in there, that he creates synthetic personalisation. And obviously over here I can put the word comrades because that's the word he uses to create that synthetic personalisation. Let's spell that correctly. Also, he talks about his long life and makes us believe, or makes the animals believe, he is knowledgeable. Okay, and obviously in there we can put the reference to the word wisdom that he mentions. So really we can see that he creates ethos at the beginning very much. Before he goes into persuading them at all, he talks to them like they're his equals, he talks to them like they're his comrades, he values them. But he also talks about the fact he's had a long life, that he's developed a lot of knowledge. So we can trust him because he clearly knows stuff from the perspective of the other animals. So that's all I want you to do, is to answer the questions in the middle column, and in the end column to put examples to prove that what you've put here is correct, to put the examples from the speech at the end, okay? Okay, and then once you've filled in your table and you've made some notes in every column, if you have time, and that is an if because I don't want you working hours on this, could you please write it up as a little paragraph, just copying and completing these stems out? Okay, so the most important thing is that you do the table, that you make the notes, because we're not learning how to write an analysis, we're learning how to spot these techniques and make sure you understand them. But if you manage the table quite quickly and you can do the paragraph, then that'll help you consolidate it. But what's much more important than the paragraph is sending your work to your teachers. So obviously I've asked you in every video, every lesson, to take photographs of your work, attach it to show my homework, or attach it to an email and send it to your teacher. Same message again today, please. please allow yourself time at the end of doing some work to take photographs and submit your work so we can have a little look. Okay, so now we have been through the key concepts of pathos, ethos and logos. We've looked at how to use rhetorical figures. We've looked at how to construct a counter-argument. Your last job of the week after you've done your work in this session is to do the weekly quiz. And I will move on to more sustained speech writing next week. Thanks, guys.